I do like 75 hard because it puts you in a state long enough to kind of change your habits, right? It's beyond that 30 day.
Yes.
So 75 days matters because now you can say, you know what? I can do this. I've achieved this.
I think that's kind of the best thing when you look at the trends that come with diet is maybe I do want to try this for a month. Maybe and see how my body feels, because that's how you're going to learn your body. But then after that, what am I doing next? And kind of set yourself up to have these little bitty goals and these little bitty hurdles to really, one, find out how your body responds, and two, what works best for you. If I can have a defined end goal, most people have it in them to reach that finish line.
I have a feeling that this episode was strategic by my partner in crime right here, Mr. John Carlson. And the fact that we are joined by the founder and CEO, Mr. Watus Cooper, of Unfair Advantage Performance out in Tempe, Arizona. And this all has to do with being fit, making sure mind, body, soul are all in line. Correct, Watus?
Yes, sir.
And
Absolutely.
I think you guys planned this because John has been screaming and yelling at me ever since I joined the MT family. Come on, buddy. You got to come out Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays.
Yes.
At a
Let's
minimum.
go see Watus.
Just 3 days.
6 a.m. or 6:30?
5:30s, Tuesday, Thursday.
0,
7, you get
5:30.
to sleep on Saturday at 7 a.m. on Saturday.
Beautiful. You know, it's kind of a good thing. I'm actually up at 5:15 anyway, so what excuse do I
Come
have?
on by.
Wade, it's such a pleasure, man. It's
a pleasure to be here.
Good
Thanks
to
for
see you
having me.
again. We were talking off camera just a little bit ago. The first time I met you was actually on my first day of joining the MT family.
How about that?
So it's a
It
full
comes
circle.
full circle. Yeah.
Full circle.
I love it. I love it.
Well, welcome to the show. How's things going, man? Give us a little history. What's going on?
Things going good. You know, Unfair Advantage, we just expanded. We took over the next door space. So we now are about 5,000 square feet total. And so we had the performance side where we did all of our training, one-on-one training, semi-private training, corporate wellness, those things. And now we have an entire recovery wellness side, which has 4 infrared saunas, 3 cold plunges, hyperdissolved oxygen tub, compression therapy, complete side of the building dedicated to wellness. And so we're moving and grooving on all
Good for
fronts
you.
now. So now it went from the yang side, now we have the yang. So we got the real good performance and wellness happening together. So things are good.
You've been a partner of MT for a long time. I want to make sure that we also mention, because you are hosting a pretty amazing event, a charity event. I know this will come out a little bit later than when the event actually takes place, but honoring the fallen. Can you
Yes.
give us a little sneak peek of that? Because I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, so coming up this weekend, we have our golf tournament, which is the Honor the Fallen golf tournament. And Honor the Fallen started off basically, my parents were military, so I was a military kid, grew up overseas. And I really used to wonder when somebody would die in the line of duty, that what happened to the family? Who provided for the kids? Is there something that happens to that family? Because I would just see the family pack up and leave. And it's like they were gone if we were deployed, if we were
Sad.
overseas. And so it was always something of in the back of my mind. And so growing older and looking at how we wanted to help our kids understand giving back to families that were less fortunate, we started Honor the Fallen. And it started with the 5K that Mark Taylor has been a part of since its inception. This was probably 9 years ago. We started Honor the Fallen.
Sure.
And so we had a 5K. It was called 5K for Heroes, where we raised money for kids that have lost a parent in the line of duty. And so it started off as a military organization, and 2 years into it, we added in police and fire, as they also are taking sacrifices and making that commitment for our safety and for our freedoms. And so police, fire, and military is now who we honor, those families both locally and nationally, every year, to do everything we can to try to give back to those who have made the ultimate sacrifice.
That's awesome, man. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
thanks. Yeah.
And MT is a sponsor. We thank you again for doing this for all of us. I mean, it's not just for military as well. I wanted to make sure it's fire and police as well,
Correct.
right? And we're looking forward to it, man.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
I can't wait. I can't wait. So the reason why we've invited you here, because part of the MT vision is also to be fit, again, mind, body, soul. You have been pushing me very hard, and thank you, by the way. I'm sorry I've declined you every single time that you've asked. Not really asked,
just
but
because I care.
I know you do.
prod.
That's
I
why I'm
prod.
saying
That's
thank
it.
you. That's why I'm saying thank you. So I thought this was a great concept. Some hacks and some tips for the busy professional as far as in regards to health and fitness.
Sure.
How long have you been doing this yourself, as far as just how honed in you've been with your health and fitness?
I mean, I think it ebbs and flows during life for most people. I think when I was younger, very active sports, right? Football, baseball, basketball,
It was
softball.
natural. Yeah,
I mean,
it was
just
natural.
nonstop. And then I started to travel a lot in my young 20s, overseas, internationally. I found myself at the Outback Steakhouse, eating kookaburra wings and drinking Fat Tire. I ballooned to about 210 pounds, believe it or not.
Wow.
And it was right before I decided to move to Arizona. So it was about a year and a half prior to that. And once I was here and I recognized how healthy our state is overall, kind of wanted to fit in, as a young 20-something, and just started to take it more seriously. And then it kind of ebbed and flowed. I worked out at Lifetime Fitness. I did those things. But I don't think I really got serious until I met Watus. And he probably knows part of this story. But he was training at Lifetime Fitness. Mm-hmm. You're training Jeff and Courtney Newgard.
Yep.
And, I saw you there. We just kind of like, hey, how you doing? You guys are working out today. And I just see how he interacted with certain clients when I was there. And I'm just like, it was a good vibe. Right? Mm-hmm. Your energy is amazing. And I'm like, okay, how can I incorporate this? And I didn't really know. So I just, kept going to Lifetime, doing the biceps and, the basic stuff. And then Watus moved to STS.
Yep.
Whether it was 12 or 13, we don't know exactly. And I started working out with him there. Uh-huh. And then he opened his facility in Tempe in 2013 or 14.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And I've been going ever since. And I think, it's evolved over time, functional patterns, different ways of working out. But I think the total body workout with the functional patterns, and I'm probably butchering this, but I've never felt better. So really consistently doing that for 10 years. And I often talk about, I've said this before.
Constantly.
You can go work out 2 days and not look any different. You'll be sore.
Yeah.
But are you actually changing your lifestyle? You're changing your body.
Big piece.
Yeah.
You got to be consistent and determined over a long period of time. Do that for a year or 2 years. You start to see the rewards of your efforts. And I thank Watus for, that's part of my gratitude piece, not to jump ahead, but I thank Watus for getting me focused on myself.
It's great.
There's always opportunities to grow, but, I think over the next 10 years, I'll focus a lot more on food. And incorporate the fitness aspects. But I feel great. I mean, I feel better today. I won't say my age than I did in my 30s and 20s.
Nice.
You're 49.
No, I'm not.
You're 48.
I'm not saying what I am.
I already did. Wait, we have some stats that our producer and director actually pulled together, and I know John and you have some that you want to share too. But I thought this one was I didn't realize this how large of a number it was. So I'm going to ask you this question. Approximately 40% of working Americans today hold desk jobs where they're mainly seated for 40 or more hours per week. Most that are in an office are actually sitting longer than that, right? What are some of the top 3 important health and fitness recommendations you would give to those desk job employees to help them out throughout any given week?
That is an amazing stat and an even better question. Looking at the fact that is, it describes a lot of the community, a lot of the nation that we are a part of, that people are sitting down a lot.
Stagnant.
Right? We sit down, even if you're not at a desk job, you sit down to drive, you sit down to eat. Sitting down is a part of our culture. It's a part of what we do. I think the largest thing, if I were to look at something that would help me get out of that, would be to find a way to incorporate more movement, right? Movement is going to be key. And when we say movement, we're not just saying like get up and go for a walk or get up and go for a move, but be specific. I think oftentimes we don't have a goal, or we don't have something set in stone, like I'm going to do this at this time or at this point in the day. That's going to now mitigate the fact that I'm going to a job and I'm going to be sitting at my desk for, the large portion of the week. I think the grand majority of people are just lacking maybe a specific goal, and having a goal is going to be something that now we can say I can focus on versus just saying I want to get fit.
Sure.
Right? Or I want to lose weight.
Sure.
Or I want to move more. There needs to be a specific, they call it a SMART goal, right? Something that's specific, measurable, attainable, realistic. It's something that you can really target and say, that's what my goal is going to be. And so I would start with that. And then the other thing is understanding that, and this might be a little too much of the biomechanics and get into the science of what's going on, but sitting in that position, what things are becoming weaker, right? I'm going to have a very suppressed core. I'm going to have very weak glutes because my glutes are overly stretched, sitting in a position, and now your core is just never having to activate. So constantly in a slouch or a bad quote unquote posture, looking and saying like, I've got to incorporate some type of a core movement. When I say core, I'm not saying sit-ups, I'm saying a plank, something that's going to take you from head to toe and challenge your body, the literal core of your body to work. And then the next piece is, how do I now start to incorporate something that's going to strengthen my glutes and my quads and things that may or less not be firing because I'm putting them in a very sedentary environment.
Yeah.
So
Would you say, so what I believe, and this is 10 years with you, Eric, and functional patterns, core is always a piece of the workout.
100%.
Right? Always. And I have no back problems, right? My posture is better than ever. I feel like it's your glutes, your back, I mean, you just named it, right? Your core is activated often. And I just feel like that's the key to feeling better in the rest of your body. And that's just me as a novice saying, I just feel better.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
And a large part of it is, like you already alluded to, the functional patterns. And functional patterns is a training protocol or a system of training that incorporates upper and lower body all the time, right? So I had a WNBA girl come in today, and she's like, so what are we working on today? We're doing lower body, upper body. And I said, listen, when you get on the court, what are you going to be training? What are you working on?
Yeah.
You're working on all of it. So guess what we're going to work on today? All of it. And so if we could start to find ways to integrate that strength training, it will start to make it to where your body has to work to provide a core and a stabilization that now lends itself to less pain, ease of movement, and now you start to have an overall strength versus just targeted one area. So everything starts to really incorporate and get better overall.
John, you said earlier when you were talking about your history with Watus, when you could work out 2 to 3 days a week doing the same workout, you mentioned you could be sore, but nothing is changing, right? You're not seeing any changes with your body. You may feel better as far as mentally, right? Because any kind of workout is good for you, I would assume.
Yep.
Mental lift for sure. Absolutely.
Right?
Yep.
So when you hear that from your clients or even just acquaintances, friends, whoever you're talking to, normal conversation, same with you, JC, what do you tell them to do for those people that I'm doing this 2 to 3 times a week, but I'm not seeing any changes?
I think one of the biggest things we try to look at is what exactly is going into the recovery and how are you fueling that actual activity.
Okay, good.
Right. So what type of nutrition you have going on? The biggest thing, I think, a lot of people end up having nutrition deficit, or they kind of got it mixed up, right? So they're cutting carbs or cutting a certain macronutrient, like protein, carbs, and fats are the big 3 that you have to have all the time, right? Carbohydrates are how you stay hydrated. Carbohydrate and your healthy fats, if you're getting them from a good source, primarily from animal sources, are going to be your best bet. And then making sure you have a variety of proteins. So it's not just getting chicken, fish, and turkey, but beef and even some plant-based proteins like pea proteins. There's some other things that might be a little bit softer in people's stomachs and certain guts. But if they're not getting the results that they want based on doing a certain routine, there's something else missing. And it's going to be either in the rest and recovery piece, so not getting enough sleep, not taking enough time off, maybe going too hard, or we're not matching that nutritionally with being able to get a certain macronutrient that's going to suffice and be able to really support that level of activity. And so the 3 things is we always know we have to eat, we have to work out, and we have to recover. So one of those 3-legged stools, one of those is missing, then your stool is going to fall over.
So I'm gonna ask you a personal question because this is something
Hit me.
I tend to rarely ever eat breakfast, lunch, and then of course once I get home, I'm fixing dinner for my son and I go a little overboard because I'm starving.
Yeah.
You said constantly take in carbohydrates, fats, proteins, right?
Correct.
How bad, or how important, I shouldn't say how bad, how important is it to make sure that you are following the same eating patterns every day? Is that important? Or is it just
eating patterns as in
time you eat, how often? If you're eating healthy and not overdoing it in one sitting, is it important to stick with that repetitiveness 3 times a day, or is it more than that?
I think there's a time and a place for everything, right? So it just depends on what your nutrition, what your goals are, and so activity level is going to drive everything. So on days that you're not that active, it may not be that necessary to eat that many calories, right? Because you're not going to be able to burn those calories off. And this is just real entry level, basic approach to how to make that happen. But at the same time, consistency is key. So what you do how you do anything is how you do everything.
Okay.
Your body's going to adjust, and it's going to keep making those adjustments based on the fact that you're feeding it or driving it with those precursors. So if I'm skipping breakfast, skipping lunch, and going into a large meal at night, your body's going to set itself up to have that cortisol level raise up. You're going to have things that start to signal your body to hold on to certain levels of fat, hold on to certain levels of sugar, because it doesn't know when that next
Can't fast every day.
can't fast every day. And you know, there's a lot of things that are out there with intermittent fasting, which is kind of what you're talking about there. But it's not something you can do forever, all day, every day. So there needs to be some variety, right? There needs to be some change. And again, that change kind of comes in based on what your activity level is. If your activity level is matching what your nutrient level is, then you should be on the right track to get what you need.
That's great. JC, I want to ask you, you, Michael Wilson, Dustin Lacey, leaders of our company, our organization, family, you guys are consistent with your health, your workouts. I mean, completely honed in on it. How difficult was for you? Is it an addiction now, or is it more of, if I don't do this today, I'm not going to feel like I normally do? What is it that drives you, I guess, is what I'm trying to ask.
I want to be, strong and healthy for my family first and foremost.
Yeah.
Company included. So all of those things matter. And I see the results of not doing what I do. I have a lot of people I know that don't participate in these patterns. I feel like, when I was in my 20s and 30s, you could recover faster if you went out and had a few too many barley pops, as we've talked about. But I never let that compromise what I do. Meaning, if I'm going to have 2 tequila sodas, and I decide I'm going to have 3 or whatever it is, and I'm going to work out the next morning, I never compromise the next morning. So, I'm never going to have too much on the fun side,
right,
and then compromise one of my, I'll say long-term goals, not just today, but annual in life. So I think it's a choice. It's just a choice, right? Oh, I'm tired, right? Everyone's tired. Everyone's busy.
Everyone's busy.
It's about what's important. Like, what are you willing to sacrifice? It's the old Nick Saban quote. What are you willing to sacrifice to get what you want?
Right.
And, I'm going to sacrifice that third drink or second drink or a drink at all or whatever it is. I might not stay up late and watch a movie. I'm going to go to bed earlier because I don't have to get up at 4:50 to go work out.
Yeah.
So it's just, and it becomes something that my dopamine levels change. I get, I feel better.
That part.
I just, and then if I rest and recover, which Watus has helped me with the most, I used to work out 6 times a week. What's the benefit? I mean, what's my ultimate goal? Am I trying to be in a fitness competition? No, not anymore. I'm just trying to look good, feel good. And, the recovery piece is just as important. So if I get the right sleep and I work out just enough, I feel like I have a good balance.
If you miss, same for you, Watus, if you miss a day, do you feel like your productivity level changes? I mean, do you see a stark difference?
I don't like it, but what I do is I offset it. I mean, I know about, so like this right here, this
the watch.
Fitbit,
Oh yeah.
Back to goals. Casey, if you follow Casey Means, please do.
Casey.
She was on Tucker Carlson, Joe Rogan recently. Her and her brother, Dr. Casey Means. She is on attack mode for making our country healthier.
Now, Casey, you know the background on Casey?
No,
She
fill us in,
graduated
man.
high school, 16 years old, went to Stanford, then got into Stanford Medical.
Top of her class.
Wow.
Was a full-blown doctor, starting her surgical residency at 24, 25.
Mid-20s, yeah, I think mid-20s.
Unreal.
And was leading the industry as far as medicine goes, and had an aha moment. She had an aha moment about health and about what our country's going through. Just listening to her story and listen. I mean, she's not like just your average everyday doctor. She's extremely brilliant and down to earth, and the knowledge base that she brings it so we can actually digest it and tangible and touch it and really take home some nuggets. Amazing. Yes.
So she
Casey Means.
she references, taking just 7,000 steps a day, right? So I referenced the Fitbit. It cuts your likelihood of obesity, type 2 diabetes, Alzheimer's, and dementia in half. Not exactly for all of those, but just 7,000 steps. So most people have no idea how many steps they take. Average Americans,
I have no idea.
Under 3,500 a day. Right?
I would have no
I'm
idea.
at 58.25 right now.
Yeah, I'm at, and I only walked once this morning on a call, 6,100. But I have a daily goal of 10,000. If I'm on vacation, it's 20,000. And I track it through my Fitbit. You can use the Oura Ring, which is great too. But I'm still on the Fitbit. Nonetheless, I can look at my monthly totals, and I know in June I averaged 14,000 and a half steps a day.
It's amazing.
I'm not like our service teams are fantastic. They're 15 to 25, but really focusing on goals.
What I'm hearing from John is there's a non-negotiable, right? There's a non-negotiable. I might not get this or that, but
Right.
there's a non-negotiable. There's a baseline understanding that I'm going to make this happen, right? This month, this week, this year, this is going to be my goal. There's a non-negotiable about my fitness, about my recovery, and mixed in with family time, having fun, going out to dinner, and doing the things. We got to live life, right? But there's a non-negotiable. I'm going to wake up tomorrow, and that thing cannot not, right? I cannot not have my recovery, my fitness, whatever it is, even if it's just my steps,
Right.
right? Even if it's just
As
that
simple
one
as
thing.
Viking Sunday football, which
Yeah.
I know you love. Games at
okay.
10. I'm getting X amount of steps before 10 o'clock, right? And I'm making sure I get 10,000 that day. And it might conclude the evening, and this sounds silly, and I know people out there do it.
Yeah.
I'm at 9,800 steps. I'm walking around the living room or outside, or I'm
To get the last.
I got to get to
Done that.
10,000. I got to get that.
10,000.
Zzz,
Yeah.
And then
10K.
okay,
Yeah.
I'm good. Right.
I think I probably, because I'm a Bears fan, so my pacing has to do with just frustration.
So sorry.
Yeah, so I think I probably get those steps in. Wait, so I want to ask you a little bit more on the nutrition side, if you don't mind here. We're talking about just all these different trends
Yeah.
that are out there, right? Because every time I look, there's always something new.
Yep.
And it's the latest, greatest. You got to try it, right? So let's go from animal-based diets, veganism, 75 hard, and then, of course, there's many, many more.
Right.
Do you have not to put you on the spot, but it sounds like that's what we're going to do right now. You got a take on any of those? Do you see any benefit, or is it really just know what you're putting in your body?
Everybody's different.
Okay.
So we can't say that that everybody should be eating the same thing. What we can look at is over history in certain populations, what did they do that worked out well? And the vast majority are going to look at having some type of animal-based protein, right? And being
Red meat is fantastic for you.
red meat.
Fact.
That's always what you order when we're at a restaurant. It's always the same thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Incredibly nutritious.
And here's what I'll say. With every choice that you make, there's good, better, and best, right? So it's not maybe just what diet plan am I following is, okay, this is a good plan for me. Is there something better? And then what's the best for me? Because everybody's going to have their body's going to work in a certain way that's going to process protein differently, process carbohydrates differently, process fats differently. So I think it first boils down to, how does my body work? And I think one of the things most people don't know is they don't know how the body works. We don't know our own body, right? We know our cars better. We know our house better. We know our kids, our family, but we don't know our own body to say that, should I be
Crazy
doing,
to think about.
Right? It is.
Yeah.
It's like, that's your
Crazy
own
to
I
think
had no
about.
idea they were allergic to gluten years ago, right?
That part,
And,
yeah. So
your body was always inflamed. Just
yeah,
knowledge is a
the
big piece.
knowledge that
Yeah.
you can find about what am I allergic to, or what things are in the food that I'm allergic to. Maybe it's not the food, but maybe it's what's on the food. Pesticides, right? So I can eat red meat, or I can eat grass-fed, or I can eat grass-fed organic, grass-fed, grass-finished red meat.
Right.
So good, better, and best. And so every single program that comes out, it's like, is this something that's good for me to take on? If I'm looking at going animal-based, am I going to be able to have enough support carbohydrate-wise to make sure that I'm doing like a carnivore diet where I'm just eating a lot of protein? Am I having enough fiber to process that protein? Do I have enough enzymes to process that protein? Veganism. Now you flip to the other side of the coin. Am I getting enough protein that's going to give me the bioavailability of the vitamins and minerals that I need that are readily available inside of some animal protein? So chicken, fish, turkey, beef have certain vitamins and nutrients that aren't available anywhere else.
Right.
You have to supplement it. You have to find different ways and avenues to make sure your body gets what it needs. And so I think first understanding what does my body need, and then breaking that down as to what's going to be the best option for me. I love the 75 hard. I think, again, it goes back to having goals and a non-negotiable, something that's like, I'm going to do this, a defined end goal. So the DEG, if I can have a defined end goal, most people have it in them to reach that finish line, right? So if I say I'm doing 10,000 steps a day, I'm going to eat 10,000. I'm going to get 10,000.
I like that. That's what I do.
A large part of just having a goal, I think that's kind of the best thing when you look at the trends that come with diet is maybe I do want to try this for a month, and see how my body feels, because that's how you're going to learn your body. But then after that, what am I doing next? And kind of set yourself up to have these little bitty goals and these little bitty hurdles to really, one, find out how your body responds, and two, what works best for you.
I think too often, and again, I said I love red meat. Lots of healthy things. I eat some bad things, of course.
Yeah.
Organic matters, pesticides, chemicals, all those things are an issue for me. But when I think about the folks that just really focus in on, I change a diet every month. It just feels like you're always chasing something that doesn't really have a tangible goal. I do like 75 hard because it puts you in a state long enough to kind of change your habits, right?
Yes.
It's beyond that 30 day.
Yes.
So 75 days matters because now you can say, you know what? I can do this. I've achieved this, and I can start to tweak as Michael Wilson would say, like, just eat healthy most of the time.
That's it.
I mean, you don't have to take diets.
Not all-
when I say
right.
diets, people, my goal is to lose 12 pounds. Well, guess
lose
what?
it.
You're going to gain 14 back because your
Yeah.
body's going to reset, and you're not fundamentally changing how you habitually eat or exercise beyond that diet time frame. So you kind of go back to your normal mean. So I'm saying, like, eat healthy
Right.
consistently, exercise
time.
consistently, have goals, and that will work out well for you.
Our fellow coworker Lino Sandell and his husband Josh, they've been doing 75 hard, and you could see that the transition
difference, yeah.
in his body type. They look great. They look fantastic.
Yep.
Yep.
All right, I love this.
Shout out to Lino and Josh. Nice work.
Shout out. Way to go, Lino. Way to go, Josh. I knew that this was going to be a great learning experience for me. And it's always taken that first step. Before we close and go to what we see as what we're grateful for today, Phyllis, what is one of the best, how do you put your mindset for those that are just wanting to start getting into taking care of themselves? Maybe they have in the past. Maybe they've lost themselves for a little while, right?
Yep.
Life gets in the way from time to time. Not a really good excuse. But in your eyes, what do you tell them the first step you need to take?
I think the first step is going to be something small, and I need to be able to attach it to what I'm already doing.
Okay.
It's got to be something that I already do. Otherwise, I'm probably not going to do it. It's going to be really hard to just introduce a brand new routine and change everything up. What are you already doing that you can? So you walk your dog. Okay, let's walk the dog 10 more minutes, right? Can we add
Nice.
a small goal I'm already doing that.
Yeah.
Can I now take it 5 more minutes that way and then 5 more minutes back the other way as we head back home?
Yeah.
I say take a small goal or a small chunk of something that you know and that you're familiar with, right? And add it to what you're already doing. If it's eating, if it's drinking water, can I drink a little bit more water? Some people don't drink any water.
Yeah.
Can I just drink a bottle of water a day?
Yeah.
Right. So start small. It doesn't need to be anything big, but it's got to be something that's consistent, something that you can do every day, and attach it to what you're already doing. I think that's the part where people get off the wagon, is they try to add in something that's not really part of their routine. They do something crazy, like, I'm going to work out every single day. It's like, no, you're not. Don't do that. Let's just go with today. Let's just pick one day.
I appreciate it.
Right?
That's awesome. That is awesome. No, I appreciate that. That's great. JC, I know you have something already teed up and you're ready to share what you're grateful for today. So I'm going to turn it to you first, and then I want to flip it over to for Watus for what he's grateful for.
I think I tipped my hand, but I'm grateful for
Yeah.
Mr. Cooper here and helping me change my life for the better. I think oftentimes in life when you're younger, we tend to cling on to what's known. So, I know that maybe this crowd's bad for me, but I'm going to stay hanging out with them. They're not trying to lift me up as a human being or make me a better person. I think, finding ways to carve out a better pathway for yourself, to go forward for yourself, your family, your loved ones, your coworkers, your community. I think that's a big thing you have to do in life to really move forward. So I appreciate Watus for helping me do that.
That's awesome, man.
Very
Thank you.
grateful.
Yes.
What do you got for us today, Watus?
I think the biggest thing I'm grateful for right now today is moments like this,
Yeah.
where I'm involved and surrounded by people who care about themselves and care about me. And I think having relationships with people who care about themselves, that's kind of the first and foremost. Just show me your 5 friends and I can show you your future, right? You are the sum total of your closest 5 people that you hang around. And the majority of the people I hang around are really health conscious of themselves. And they appreciate me because they either rely on me or ask me questions, message me, and do those types of things that really show value in the knowledge base that I have. And I can be able to give that to them. And I think as iron sharpens irons, we all go up together. And it's pretty important. And I'm super grateful for these relationships.
I'm grateful that we actually have you as a partner of Mark Taylor, because this has been way too long and there's no excuse for me not to come see you. So that question I asked you at the end was basically meant for me and nobody else. Just be honest there. So take one step small and then stick to it.
That's it.
I appreciate it, man.
All right,
I really
I have
do.
a request.
Yeah.
So since we're filming, thank you, Brian.
You're going to put me on the spot here. Let's go. Come on. Bring
Today
it.
is it's basically the end of October.
Okay.
So
We're there.
In the month of November, I'd
Sure.
like to change it to Movember for you.
Okay.
Moving into Unfair Advantage at least 3 times in November.
3 visits.
You know what?
That's aiming small, missing small.
3 visits.
Three visits.
I'm in.
No, that means you have to work out.
It's
when
on
you're there.
camera. I
Okay.
got it. It's on camera.
You can't just go there to pick up my wallet again.
They're going to call me out. I got to do it.
3 times.
3 times
Okay.
in November. Yes.
Love
I
it.
like it.
Love it.
Okay.
I like it. Everybody, thank you again. Watus Cooper, John Carlson, Adam Greco. Is that your name, John Carlson?
I think so.
I almost forgot your last name there for a second.
right.
Adam Greco, Multifamily Forward, presented by Mark Taylor Consultant.
the
Thanks for
blooper.
joining us again. We'll see you soon.